Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another classic album review for you today. I'm super excited to be talking about Agalloch and their seminal album, The Mantle. It is celebrating its 20th anniversary this month. This album was released August 13th, 2002. I cannot believe that this album is actually 20 years old already. It still sounds as fresh as ever. It's just absolutely a landmark. This is the second album by Agalloch. They did only put out 5 albums before disbanding, but this is probably the album that they're most well known for. If you haven't heard these guys before, they're from Portland, Oregon in the USA, play a very unique mix of genres, kind of like atmospheric black metal mixed with folk metal, neofolk, post-metal, post-rock, doom, all these things kind of mixed together, really bending genres, especially with this album. But it's so well done and just so unique. The lineup on this album, you had John Hamm on vocals, guitar, and drums, which is super impressive. Don Anderson doing guitars, piano, and synth, and Jason Walton on bass. And this album, it's 9 songs and it's 68 minutes long, so definitely on the lengthier side of things. And even out of these 9 songs, 4 of them are instrumental, so that's a little bit different as well. But it really works. They've really crafted a very unique, like, cinematic experience with these very emotional songs and interludes that kind of tie everything together to kind of give it one overall theme. It's very somber and melancholic throughout, but beautiful at the same time. This album just builds the atmosphere so beautifully. The lyrics are very, like, nature-based, and they're very strong. Like, a lot of black metal bands maybe are singing about, like, Satan or not necessarily profound things, but these are very thought-provoking lyrics, and they're so well done. The vocals here are so recognizable, like instantly you hear John singing and you know that it's him, whether it be his clean vocals, his whisper style of singing, or his black metal rasps. They're all decipherable. You can understand everything he's saying, and just, yeah, easily one of the most recognizable voices in black metal. And this whole album, it really creates this entrancing atmosphere that you just get lost in. And this album in particular, I mean, Agalloch as a whole, but this album in particular really went on to inspire so many bands. At the time, this sound was very unique. There's obviously been a lot of bands that have tried to capture a similar sound, but yeah, Agalloch is the masters at this specific style of metal, and it's just a masterpiece of an album. So I'm going to give you my track-by-track analysis. I'll give you my thoughts on this as a whole, and I'll score it out of 10 at the end. So the album kicks off with an instrumental, a celebration for the death of man. This is just a great acoustic opener that really sets the stage and mood for the entirety of the album. Like, if you look at it on its own, it's even just a beautiful piece of music as well. But for this album, you don't really want to just pick out individual songs. You want the experience of listening to this as a whole. And this really just starts off and sets the really melancholic mood for the whole album, and it just flows seamlessly into the next track, which is the longest on the album, being just about 15 minutes, In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion. So this song, it's just absolute masterpiece, one of the standouts on the album for sure. It's got these really gorgeous soft melodies. The signature vocals come in both with the whispered and harsh vocals, as well as truly excellent clean vocals here. And this is just a really magnificent composition, like so epic in scope, being almost 15 minutes long, but just takes you on a journey, all these ebbs and flows, and it's just a perfect example of how they effortlessly blend all these different influences to make their own unique sound. Like, I know this gets labeled as black metal, and it loosely is, but there's so much other stuff going on. There's so many different inspirations and influences that they've put into their own sound to truly create their own unique thing and create their own identity. And this song is a perfect example of that. After that, the third song is another instrumental titled Odell. This one's just got these really beautiful guitars that invoke this majestic yet mournful atmosphere. Like, it's very bleak but hopeful at the same time. And this is just another great example of how they've crafted this album as a whole, and that, like, the ordering of these songs is fucking perfect. That they start with an instrumental and go to a really long epic piece, then goes back to another instrumental that just like perfectly transitions from the second song to the fourth song, when almost like you don't even notice that a song went by. It just flows so seamlessly, and it's just beautiful. And then it goes into the next song, I Am the Wooden Doors, which is possibly my favorite on the album. Very hard to say that, but it's got an opening drum beat that is just instantly recognizable with the double kicks. Just awesome way to start it. This is probably the most aggressive like black metal style song on the album. It's got these really great black metal tremolo riffs. But then even about halfway through, it's not like this is just a straight up black metal song either. About halfway through, it's got this really amazing acoustic part. And it really reminds me of a band like Over, their early works, bringing in the acoustics with the folky, atmospheric black metal. Clearly, Over was a huge inspiration for Agalloch. They took the groundwork that Over started and created something even larger in scope. And yeah, I Am the Wooden Doors, absolutely amazing song. After that, it goes into another instrumental titled The Lodge. This one is just an acoustic song with no percussion at all, except for a deer skull, which is really cool. It really creates this like wintry foresty atmosphere, where just hitting the deer skull and kind of echoes out with this acoustic guitar strumming going on at the same time. It's just so enchanting that you're going to get lost in these soundscapes, and you close your eyes and you feel like you're in the forest, just embracing nature and hearing the deer skull continually being hit and echoing on. Absolutely gorgeous stuff here. After that, it goes into another standout track, in my opinion, You Were But a Ghost in My Arms. This one's about 9 minutes long. So you kind of see a theme here that kind of goes from instrumental to like a larger piece in the overall scope of this experience. But yeah, this one's got so many great riffs, and the vocals just really shine here again. The clean vocals are absolutely amazing. Like, this album probably features more clean vocals than any of their other albums. But that being said, there's still a perfect blend of the clean vocals with the harsher side of it as well. And the way that he does his whispering vocals and the harsh rasps, it really gives this song a nice contrast of moods, from the melancholic, beautiful singing parts to then a little more aggressive side, and blending it all together just make a perfect song. Absolutely amazing. So after that, it goes into the seventh song, the Hawthorne Passage. This one is essentially an instrumental. There is a little bit of film dialogue like interspersed in there. This has a really like folky post-rock feel to it. And once again, another one that's just placed perfectly. Like, the placement between track 6 and track 8 is just awesome. It really works, as it's effective with these guitar melodies. And like, even if this song is somewhat simple in its construction, it just really works as a nice transition, like I said, from the 6th song to the 8th song, and really helps to create this whole experience for the album as a whole. So the 8th song after that is another highlight, in my opinion, and The Great Cold Death of the Earth. So this one has some great acoustic strumming to start it off, and then once again the clean vocals really shine. Life is a clay urn on the mantle, and I am shattered on the floor. Don't listen to me, because I'm not good, but yeah, go listen to this actual song. The harsh vocals do come in after that with this melodic, like, simple lead work going on at the same time. So like, this song, if you just listen and break down the riffs, like, it's not exactly complex. These are pretty basic like song structures and basic riffs, but it works really well, and it's executed so well that even though it might be a simply written song, it's beautiful and it's really stand out. It's even got this great acoustic solo as well, and just suits it so perfectly. Absolutely one of the best songs on the album. The closing song then is a desolation song. This is a nice acoustic folky song to close it out. It's got some accordion in the background, which is a really nice touch, and even later on it brings in the mandolin as well. So bringing in all this folky instrumentation just really suits this song perfectly. It's got these whispering vocals throughout the whole song that are so bleak and desolate. Like, you hear the despair in his voice, and reading the lyrics, like, it is truly a desolation song. Such a sorrowful note to end the album on, but it works magnificently because that's the mood that this whole album has built towards and has taken you through this experience. So yeah, those are all the songs. So my thoughts on this as a whole, like, it's such a perfect blend of black metal, folk metal, neofolk, doom, post-rock, ambient. It's so hard to put a label on the style of music it is here, other than saying it's Agalloch. It sounds like Agalloch. They really did their own thing here. There's been a lot of copycat bands that have tried to capture this sound, but the originality and uniqueness at the time for 2002, there was not really anything out there like this, but this album did spawn a bunch of other artists and inspired so many bands that for its time, this, not even just for its time, this is amazing for its time, but it's still amazing. I listen to this album all the time. If for someone maybe that's not hugely into black metal, I could see this album maybe being a good gateway album to kind of dip your toes in and get a taste of black metal, because this only has like hints of black metal mixed in with everything else. So if you're someone that's maybe been on the fence about getting into black metal and harsher music, give this album a try. To experience it as a whole, see if it's got anything in there that you like. But yeah, for this, once again, the lyrics are a strong point as well, really thought-provoking. The production is top-notch, the performances are top-notch. I don't really have anything bad to say about this album at all. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I just absolutely love this album. Ever since I first heard it, I have pretty much not been able to stop listening to it because it is a masterpiece. So to score this out of 10, I don't want to say it's a perfect 10 out of 10. I mean, 4 instrumentals out of 9 songs might be one too much. That would be my one tiny knock on it, but it's hard for me to say that that's a negative because this flows so seamlessly that you don't really even notice when an instrumental song comes in. The whole album kind of just flows together. But that being said, if you like break it down song by song, there's only really like 5 non-instrumental songs. So that's maybe going to bring it down a slight little bit from being a perfect 10 out of 10. But that being said, this is very close. I'm giving this 9.5 out of 10. It's an all-time masterpiece, all-time classic. Possibly my favorite Agalloch album. I think when I did my ranking, I had that as number 2, actually. But nonetheless, this could easily be number 1, and I understand if it's your favorite Agalloch album because it is that good. So anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. Love to just talk about my favorite albums. Love to get your thoughts down below on what you think of Agalloch and the Mantle specifically. And yeah, until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews, out.